Welcome to the channel, everyone. Well, we're getting a lot of things done. Got the engine in, got the transmission in, got the transfer case in. So now I'm moving to the rear axle. What I'm going to do here is I'm just cleaning it up. I've actually got it all cleaned up pretty much. It was just full of grease, and the camera's not going to focus down here. It was full of grease, so I degreased it, and yeah, I'm just going to probably wire wheel it quick, paint it black. I've got new shocks. I got a new aluminum diff cover. I got new stainless brake lines. I've got a new brake hose. This is the old one. The new one's right there, ready to go on. I gotta make a little adapter to lengthen this piece right here, because this truck has a 2.5-inch lift on it. And it just, at full droop, it stretches this line out. So I'm just gonna make a little extension, bring it up. That'll stop that from happening. There was all kinds of grease right here from a leaking seal, so probably when I have the diff cover out, I'm going to pull the drums. I have the seals, so I'm probably just going to do it anyway. If it looks like they got new seals in it, maybe I won't, but I think I'm probably just going to go ahead and do it. But yeah, it's I got new shocks even for back here, so I might do that in this video. But yeah, I would like to have done new leaf springs. Someone lifted this truck with blocks in the rear. Skyjacker has a 2-inch lift, all spring lift. Would have loved to have gotten in here, but I don't think it's going to happen. So I'm going to detail what I got here. So this is kind of a before. This has a chrome diff cover. I don't know if I could save it or not, but I didn't even know that. It's so kind of rusty, but someone was trying to customize it, and they've been in here. You can see the amount of silicone they got on this cover is a lot. So I don't like the looks of that. I don't know if I should weld that up. Looks like this is where they plug weld the axle tube on the housing, but it looks like there's a hole there. So I might have to hit that. Actually, it looks like there's welding spatter down here. I don't know what that's from. It's not going to focus. So I don't know. I got to get to it. I can't bleed my brakes unless I get this axle situated and my lines all sealed up, and I want to do that next. So I got to get to work. I am curious why someone was in here before me. You can see they really cleaned up. They used a grinder to clean up which has got me a little nervous. Down here is where you're going to find your debris that doesn't look good. And yeah, it's cruddy down there. But it actually looks pretty good. I'm probably going to let this drain overnight. That silicone, whatever silicone they used, really doesn't even look like it. Doesn't even look like it was holding onto the metal, so I don't know. It looks like odd silicone to me. But I think I'm going to go pull the drums. I'm going to look at the seal. Okay, so there it is, guys. I mean, I would say it looks like a pretty used rear end. I don't see anything major. I don't know if you can see that right there on that one gear. It looks like there's a pretty little chunk out of that. I don't know what would have caused that. There's also what looks like, see that welding BB? Looks like they were welding and it jumped and fell on it right there. I don't know where they were welding, but there was welding spatter. Oh, like here there was some welding spatter, and there's some welding spatter in other places. I don't know what exactly they were welding, but truck run fine. It didn't make noise or anything back here, so I'm gonna just clean this up, put my new cover on, put some new fluid in. But before that, I have to decide if I'm going to change out the seals. And if you look in here, it looks like they've got a new seal in there. I don't know why. It looks like there's grease in there too. So I got to decide, do I trust the work that whoever did? Do I trust that seal? They don't appear to be leaking. That one over there looks like it was leaking, but I think it's not leaking now. But again, like I said, do I trust their work or not? I don't really know. Looks like all new brake shoes on here, both sides. Everything pretty much looks new. The drums look like they don't have a whole lot of time on them. Looks like they're both braking pretty good. All kinds of shoe left on both sides. This one here is coated. You can see it's coated. It's got grease in there. But I'm pretty sure that's a previous leak. I don't think it's leaking right now. And again, there's grease on that seal. I'm not sure why, but yeah, a little bit of rust there because I've been hitting this thing with water. Haven't driven it in a while. Looks like new adjusters. Front looks the same way. Looks like someone did a brake job on this thing, got all the brakes working. I don't know if it was the guy that sold it to me or somewhere along the line someone did that, but yeah, that's where I'm at right now. I got the seals. It's only one bolt. You gotta take one bolt off. And then you can slide those axles out. I could change the seals. So I might just do that just for peace of mind. Okay, so I am going to pull the axles, and I believe I've showed this on my one of my S10 videos, but to pull the axles, you got this bolt right here. It's actually got like a pin built into it, and it's actually, these are pretty tight. I know it's loose right now and it's sticking out, but it was tight. I'm just doing this for video purposes. You got to loosen that up, then you pull it out, and like I said, see, it's got like it's like a long pin bolt. Anyway, once you get that out, it almost fell out here. This right here, this other pin is going to come out just like that, and it's just a long pin, just like that. That's going to come out. Now you're going to be able to push your axle into the tube. You're going to push it into the tube, and you're going to pull your little C-clip out, and that'll allow you to pull your axle out. I'll show you that. Okay, so now that the pin's out, you can actually push your axle in. And you just heard the clip fall out. Okay, so there's the clip, the C-clip, and it actually fell out of this axle. But it usually, it sits right on the axle there. Hopefully you see it sits on the axle there. Now you can pull the axle out. Right in the center of the screen is the axle. Okay, so once your C-clip's out, you can pull your axle out. I take it over, clean it up. Okay, so I got one of the axles out here, cooking in the parts cleaner. I got it cleaned up. The splines, they look pretty good. You can tell this is an old axle because you can see it's got a little bit of wear to it, but all the splines look pretty good. Everything looks all right. The axle isn't twisted or cracked anywhere. This one has some concerning marks here where the bearing rides. You can see it's not smooth. It should look shiny and smooth through the whole thing here where the seal rides and everything. You can see that this is not smooth, so this really should probably be replaced. So I'll probably come back to this. It'll be fine for now, the few miles I'm going to put on it. But it'll probably have to be addressed. Probably get some new axles for this and some new bearings. Definitely wouldn't want to get some new bearings and then run it on an axle like that. So you pretty much got to do it all at once. So I'm going to get my new seal in here, get this axle put on or back in, and we'll get the other one out. Okay, so it's a pretty fresh seal. But what concerns me is there's grease all over it. Almost like someone tried to grease these rear wheel bearings, like tried to pack them like a front wheel bearing, and that's not how these rear ones work. Which has me a little concerned that the person had no idea what they were doing when they did this job. But I got a seal puller here. I'm going to pull this out. With this, you don't want to go into your bearing there, especially if you're not going to replace it. You don't want to dig too far down and dig into the side of the place that you are pulling, and you just give it a couple of whacks, and now I got grease on my shoes, which is awesome. But yeah, you can see they got grease all over that wheel bearing, which I don't understand. You can see the fluid's running out right now. I mean, the rear axle fluid is what greases those bearings. So, okay, so here's my new seal. Now this one's stamped Yukon, so I think it's a really nice seal. The other ones were kind of no-name seals, so I know I got a better seal here. Highly recommend investing in a tool like this. This is like a seal and race driver. Really nice. Well, it's just probably a cheaper one, but it's a nice tool for the job, especially when you're driving in seals. Really, really nice. And when you're driving in a seal, you hear it bottom out. You can actually hear it, you can feel it. It's like a thud, so you know you're in. Now, I'm not going to grease these bearings up like someone else did. I'm actually going to take some, usually take like a Lucas or some like assembly lube here. I got some Lucas assembly lube, and I'll lube up these bearings just so you know they don't start out dry. And then I'll put a little bit of this on the seal lip too, so we don't get a dry seal on startup. Okay, so I got my axle here all cleaned up, ready to slide in there. You do got to be careful with your seal in there. You don't want to ride that axle on the bottom of that seal. You're going to have to set it on there. There's no way to hold it while you go all the way in there, but just really be easy on that seal lip. Okay, so here we go. You really don't want to drag it on the bottom of the axle either, because it's like full of debris in there. You got to kind of turn it to find home, to line up all the stuff there, and then I'll push it in all the way. So I got my axle pushed all the way in. I'm going to take my little C-clip, I'm going to stick it on the axle, and then I'm going to pull the axle all the way out, and that's going to lock the axle in place. So now I'm going to slide my pin back in there, I'm going to lock it down with the bolt, and yeah, I got new seals that I know are good. Okay, just snugging that bolt down, guys. You're going to find it's kind of hard to get a wrench to fit on that bolt there. This one has a lock washer. I'm sure there's a torque spec. You can probably search that, but that's pretty much it for the seal job. This is a Chevy 12 bolt. I put it in a ton of vehicles. It's pretty much the same procedure for most axles. Most older axles maybe, I don't know. But anyway, got that all buttoned up. Now I'm going to show you the cover I got for this. Really cool. I've showed you guys before if you watch my videos, but I'll show it again. Okay, so here's the aluminum diff cover that's going on the truck. I did a video on this. I actually clear coated this with a satin clear to keep it so it stays this way. This is going to match the front one. I got front one. This is an old school one. This is not like a new one. This is very old. The part number, I think if you look that up, you can see it's a an old school aluminum cover. It's deeper. It actually came with some bolts here. Probably gonna use some stainless ones though. And then to go with that, I got a lube locker gasket. These are really awesome gaskets. They don't need any silicone. This is GM 12 bolt. You install them dry, no sealant. So in my eyes, this is the way to go with a lube locker. They're a little more expensive, but you clean your surface, bolt it on, forget about it. You ain't gotta wait for lube or nothing, or silicone or anything. So I'm gonna get this bolted onto the axle. Give you a quick look at this gasket if you've never seen a lube locker. So it's pretty much what it is. Got one on the front axle. When I did that, zero issues with it. I actually got one for my new truck, my '09. I got a cover for that I got to put on, but I got one of those. I've got a transmission lube locker gasket for the transmission pan when I put my deeper one on. So yeah, I like the lube lockers. Okay, so one thing I like to do when I'm cleaning up my gasket area, I usually do that with like a razor blade. I take a couple paper towels and kind of stuff it in there. So anything that I'm scraping off here doesn't fall into the gears or stuff like that. Yeah, I just like to do that just to keep debris out of the gears. That is so cool looking. I love it. I just torqued the bolts. My old Haynes manual says 10 to 20 foot-pounds for the cover bolts. So I actually went 180 inch-pounds. I believe that's 15 foot-pounds. Nice thing about these aluminum covers is they got really nice thick flange here. So when you tighten everything down, it's pretty flat versus the chrome tin cover that I just took off. That chrome cover seemed like a little more thicker than the normal tin cover I've pulled off these. But if you got a real thin one, actually torquing is even more important, because you don't want to over torque one bolt and crush it and then cause your gasket to warp and stuff like that. So I don't know, I really love it. I cannot wait to get this thing on the road. So I got to do a few more things. I got to clean up my axle. Actually, I got to go get some 80/90, I believe, goes in the differential. Actually, I need some more 80/90 for the transfer case as well. Yeah, I got to clean the axle up here. Probably just wire wheel it. Got to make my little bracket. Then get her painted. Then I can start putting everything back together. Okay, so I pulled the shocks off, and it looks like on this side, driver's side, someone has broken the shock bolt off. I have no idea how they would have done that, unless it got seized. You can see that's what it's supposed to look like. Unless it got seized on there and they pounded it and they broke it off. I don't know, I gotta see what I can do there. This one down here, this bolt was seized in the shock, so I had to really fight that to get that off. But one of the shocks is blowed out. The other was still working. So out of the 4 shocks, 2 are blowed out, 2 are still okay. So just 4 new shocks should really help the the drive of this truck. But anyway, I gotta see what I can do with that. I don't know, it's boogered up pretty bad. A few other things on the frame I'd like to get rid of. They welded some stuff right there. I'd like to get rid of that. Clean the frame up, but while I have the grinder out. Okay, so I cut this boogered up mess off. Actually, I thought this was an original piece to the frame, but I don't think it is. I don't know where they come up with that. But anyway, I got myself a bolt. I cut the head off, and I'm currently welding that on. I've got a piece of aluminum up here protecting the wood, because that's really old dry wood. It probably wouldn't take much to set that on fire, and that would be really bad. So I'm trying to take it easy. I'm welding it, letting it cool. And like I said, I got this piece of aluminum here kind of protecting the wood. So almost got it. Just got to do a little bit on the top there, which is going to be fun. Then dress it up. I'll grind it a little bit. Try to hide the repair as much as possible. But, well, there's my repair. Did the best I could with the situation with the bed being on. But there's the factory one. There's mine. I think I did pretty good. It can be hard to spot unless you're looking for it. Just couldn't leave that junk on here. It did cost me. I didn't get my axle painted here, but hopefully tomorrow we'll get her knocked out. But yeah, I'm happy with that. It's good and strong. Probably gonna have to put a washer on the inside because I couldn't get it flat like the factory. I couldn't get it flat. If I could grind all the way around it, I could probably get it flat, but I'm not going to take the bed off right now. So I may eventually, if the bed comes off, I can probably fix that the way I want. But it'll work for now. Okay, so I'm cleaning up the frame. Actually, I was cleaning up the inside of the frame, and then I wasn't gonna mess with this until later on, but I figure I'm here. Let's get it done with. You can see I've been grinding right there because I cut off this piece of metal there, and then there was another one on the other side. And I believe it was part of a heavy-duty hitch that was on this thing, which makes sense why the axles are so worn on the bearing side, because I think this thing hauled some heavy loads. Probably why the transmission was tired, motor was tired, because somebody was towing with this. They changed it up and they got a heavy duty bumper, and there's another thing here that's welded on, but I'm not dealing with that right now. When I take the bed off, that's when I'll probably deal with all that. But he probably needed a crossover because this frame isn't very thick. Not really. The truck really isn't made to haul super heavy loads. The guy should have probably got a C20 or something. But anyway, I got them off. The weld on these is like super hard for some reason. It's like stick welded, I believe. But the weld is like really, really hard to grind off for some reason. But I got it good enough for now. I'm going to continue on. I'm going to get all this wire wheeled. I'm going to get to the axle here, hopefully next. Okay, so you can see I got my axle painted. And I've got some brake lines installed. Oh, had some issues there. You can see one has the protective coil around it. The other line does not. This was the other line that came with the kit. and it's supposed to go on this side, and it's about 1 inch too short. I've tried to straighten it up as much as I can, and it won't make it. So this was the axle line that actually was for Dad's Camaro. It didn't fit, so I used that for this side. This side I'm not happy with it, because to get it to fit, it was short too. To get it to fit, I had to straighten it out, and you can see it goes right in front of the differential cover there. And it's supposed to go up and around it. So I don't exactly know what inline tube was thinking when they made these rear lines, but they don't fit. They don't fit a 70, not the factory routing. I did move this mount where the hose goes. You can see there's quite a bit of slack now, and this is at full droop. I made a little bracket right there, like a 45. I was going to go up with it, but I found that pointing it down was actually better than the way I had it, and it actually looks better too. So I did move this where this goes, but it didn't move this way. I just moved it out. So the same length line should have worked. So I'm not happy with that. So probably what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my own line for this side. I've got some coil wrap, or some brake line protection, whatever they call that. I got some of that to match this side. I know a lot of people are going to say, why mess with it when you got a line there that's going to work? But I want it to look right under here. There's a reason I got an aluminum diff cover, and there's a reason why I painted it. The reason why I'm detailing everything under here, because I want it to look nice. I know most people aren't going to see this. They're not going to see these brake lines, so I could just tighten them brake lines up and be done with it. But that's not it's not who I am. So I'm going to get another line, and I'm going to match the other side. Okay, so I picked up a few things to make my rear brake line. I got some of this copper. This is 3/16 copper nickel line. I don't know how much this is, 25-foot coil. I usually like to get it straight. It's just easier to work with when it's straight. Now I got to straighten it out before I bend it. Also got some of this stainless steel protector to match the other side of the. And then I've also actually picked up some stainless fittings to go with all this, so nothing rusts up on me. Okay, so I bent my line up. Pretty much copied the one they had to about here. Then I made my own bends to go up over the axle. I've got the original holder to hold the line. I've got that painted. It's dry, and it's going to go right here. But yeah, there we go. Got it completed. It's not a perfect match, because this is the nickel copper underneath the. I don't know if you can see that in the video or not. You can see the nickel copper line back here. This one here was full stainless. It's got the stainless protector and the stainless line. It was a stainless kit for Dad's 70 Camaro, but it was too short. It didn't fit the axle either. So I don't know. Whatever. I guess I got a use out of it now. So I'm pretty happy with that. I've also forgot to mention this. I got my vent, a new vent in place all the way up to the frame there with the new breather or vent cap. Okay, so I also got some new shocks installed. You can see these are the Skyjacker Black Max. I went with them to match my steering stabilizers, also the Black Max shocks. So these aren't terribly expensive. They're no Bilstein shocks, but I'm sure they're a lot better than the one blow it out one that I had on here. My new stud looks good. Not as much stud sticking out on that side. Should have probably used a little longer bolt, but I think it's gonna work out. I kind of need all this stuff in place, shocks and all my lines, because next thing I'm probably going to be doing is my exhaust. So when the exhaust comes out this way, I need to know where everything's going to be at so I can avoid stuff. So yeah, pretty much I think I got her. The axle is pretty well done, except for that little support that holds the line right there. I got to get that on there. And I can tighten up, if I tighten up the rest of my brake lines up front, then pretty much my brake system is tight. So I can bleed my master cylinder, get that hooked up, and then actually I could bleed the brakes quick just to make sure everything isn't going to leak before I start putting all the fenders and stuff on. That would probably be a good idea. But anyway, guys, this is probably going to be a long video, but I've done a bunch of stuff, so hopefully you enjoyed it, and I'll see you.